How's it going, Vandals? I'm Johnny Alpha, and I'd like to welcome you back to Graphic Vandalism. And yeah, it's new video time. This video is Famous Monsters, a look at 5 comics based on popular horror movies. And I have picked out 5 really stellar books that are all pretty much better than most, if not all, of the actual sequels or prequels to these films we got on film. And commercial properties in comics are very hit or miss, but the ones in this video are all home run level hits. And with that, Vandals, let's see what goes bump in the night. Okay, then. And first up is Friday the 13th. The Abuser and the Abused, written by Joshua Hale Falkov, with just wonderful retro EC Comics Vault of Terror looking art by Andy B, published by Wildstorm Comics. And the Abuser and the Abused is only a one shot, but damn, this is a one shot that just goes for broke, and it tells an utterly tragic but fun story that has a lot more emotional content and brutality than your average Friday the 13th story. And this one is all about a teen girl named Maggie who is in an abusive relationship with her high school boyfriend. To make things worse, she also lives in an abusive household. And Maggie, she just really can't get help from anyone. So she decides to go savage, and she talks her boyfriend into taking a romantic trip to Camp Crystal Lake. And yeah, you know what's up. Jason shows up and he does what Jason does. But on the real, this book really makes me think this is what it would look like if Wes Craven in his prime did a Jason movie. But this book is just fast, dirty, and super gory, and I love it. All right. And next up is Night of the Living Dead, The Beginning, written by John Russo with violent and graphic art by Sebastian Fumara, published by Avatar Press, and this book is just what its title entails. It is a straight up prequel to the original Night of the Living Dead movie. But what is super epic about this is it's actually written by John Russo, who co-wrote the film. And this comic does a really stellar job of setting the scene for the events we see in Night of the Living Dead. It's mostly about the character Ben at Beekman's Diner when everything starts going down, and it helps explain where all the recently dead people from the movie came from. But it's not just that. It has its very own brutal story with great characters and a killer power struggle over who will be in charge of the scene, foreshadowing the events we saw in the film, only with way more brutality and gore. And in epic Night of the Living Dead fashion, this book has a wonderful, messed up, ironic ending. Honestly, any Romero fan should love this comic like I did. Right on. And how about now we check out The Lost Boys, written by the always wild and wonderful Tim Seeley, with fresh and vibrant art by Scott Godlewski, published by Vertigo Comics. And yeah, this book is the amazing and just super sweet direct sequel to The Lost Boys that we all always wanted but never got. And I am so happy Seeley got to write this. You can tell the man was just living the dream while working on this, because he honestly gives us one of the most epic and hilarious 80s horror sequels ever to grace the page of comics. And this one takes place not too long after the events of the first movie, with the Emerson family trying to get back to a normal life and taking care of the Frog Brothers. When all the monster hunters in Santa Carla start dropping like flies, things get crazy fast, and the vampires, they ain't playing nice this time, and we discover what happened in the first movie was just the tip of the iceberg, and there was always something way bigger at play in Santa Carla. And yeah, this book is just too much fun, and it hits all the nostalgia buttons just right. Also, the buff saxophone player gets a really great role in this one, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Okay then, and how about now we hop on over to Aliens, Dead Orbit, written and drawn by the amazing up and coming god of comics, James Stokoe, published by Dark Horse Comics. Now, if I'm being honest, you can literally throw a dart at Dark Horse's line of alien comics and hit 10 masterpieces. But I'm going with Dead Orbit because I just love Stokoe's work, and it's also one of the most savage alien books I've ever read. And this one's all about a small crew on a company relay station. When an incoming ship doesn't respond to their hails, they go on board to see what's up. They find the crew in cryo, but an accident happens with the ship's cryopods, so the survivors thaw too fast, and it's just brutal gory. And to make things worse, 2 of them are infected with Xenos. But this isn't discovered until the crew is back on the station, and we get one of the greatest chestburster scenes ever in a comic. And this is when the book gets claustrophobic fast, as it's two Xenos versus a small crew with no weapons. And just wow, this is a comic that really gets your blood pumping, and it's a true thrill ride in the vein of the first two films. Honestly, in my opinion, this is what Hollywood should be making alien films like. It's so much more moody and unsettling than the past four films have been. All right, and last but surely not least, we have Hellraiser, written by the man, the myth, the legend, the God King himself, Clive Barker, co-written and brutally drawn by several very talented people. There are really way too many of them to try and list here. Sorry, but this comic was published by Boom Studios. And yes, this book is what a Hellraiser fan like myself has always dreamed of. The perfect follow-up to the first two films, helmed by Barker himself. And this one's all about Kirsty, and she's joined a team of other people whose lives were ruined by the toys of La Machante. But in this story, La Machante made several toys, all with their own Cenobites and configurations. Kirsty and her team find these toys and destroy them. They are always on the lookout for the puzzle box, though. But this book even goes on from there, and it chronicles the final encounter between Kirsty and Pinhead, and even beyond that, and it's utterly magnificent. The dark places this comic goes are places films could never or would ever dream of going. This is honestly horror perfection, and a comic any horror fan or Barker fan should read in their lifetime. Well, there you have it, Vandals. Famous monsters. And I really loved making this video. I'm a huge horror fan and gorehound, and I really want to make more horror videos in the future. Please let me know what are some of your favorite horror comics, whether they are based on movies or not, in the comments, because I love recommendations. But for now, until next time, this is Johnny Alpha from Graphic Vandalism saying, I have such sights to show you.